My beloved brothers and sisters, in a world that constantly pulls us toward noise, comparison, and endless chasing, sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is a moment of reflection. A moment to remember who you are, where you are going, and who is guiding you. Life is not measured by the wealth you hold in your hands, but by the faith you carry in your heart. We chase money until our legs grow tired. We chase people until our hearts grow weary. Yet the moment we turn to Allah with sincerity, we find a peace that cannot be purchased, a strength that cannot be taken away, and a hope that cannot be extinguished. My brothers and sisters, every difficulty you are facing today is not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. Rather, it is a sign that Allah believes you are capable of rising higher than before. Just look back at your life. How many moments did you think would break you, yet Allah carried you through them? How many times did you feel alone, yet Allah was quietly opening doors you didn't even know existed? You may feel delayed, but you are never denied. You may feel tested, but you are never forgotten. Understand this deeply. Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. And the fact that you are going through something means Allah knows you have a strength inside you that you have not yet discovered. Every storm you face is polishing you. Every setback is redirecting you. Every hardship is preparing you. Do not curse the test. Learn from it, walk through it, and trust that Allah writes your story with mercy. And remember, real wealth is not stored in your bank account. It is stored in your actions, your character, your patience, your humility, your trust in Allah, and the way you treat people when no one is watching. You can own the world but be spiritually bankrupt. And you can have very little yet walk with a heart so rich that the angels themselves praise your endurance. Wealth enters a home through discipline, kindness, trust in Allah, and consistency in doing good. Your rizq is written, but your barakah is earned through gratitude, honesty, and purity of intention. So today, decide to rise. Decide to clean your heart from grudges. Decide to purify your tongue from harmful words. Decide to walk on the earth with dignity, kindness, and purpose. When you improve your character, Allah improves your circumstances. When you step toward Allah, Allah runs toward you. When you fix your heart, Allah fixes what is around you. Never underestimate a sincere dua whispered in the middle of the night. Never underestimate a tear shed in sujood. Never underestimate the power of asking Allah for strength when your own strength is fading. The world may see your smile, but Allah sees your struggle, and He will reward you for every bit of it. My dear brothers and sisters, your journey is not over. Your story is still being written. And the one writing it is the most merciful, the one who loves to forgive, loves to uplift, and loves to turn darkness into light. Walk with hope, walk with faith, walk with the certainty that whatever Allah takes from you, He replaces with something better. Maybe not immediately, but always eventually. Keep your heart connected to the one who controls all hearts. Keep your hands clean from oppression. Keep your tongue soft with remembrance, and keep your days filled with purpose. When you do that, you will find a kind of wealth, spiritual, emotional, and worldly, that fills your home, enriches your soul, and elevates your life in ways you never imagined. May Allah bless your journey, strengthen your heart, and fill your home with endless barakah. Ameen. The ant, as a symbol of planning, saving, and quiet hard work, carries within it a profound lesson that reaches far deeper than its tiny size. When we reflect on the ant from an Islamic motivational perspective, we discover an entire philosophy of life hidden inside this small creature. Allah mentions in the Quran the story of the ant that warned its community to take shelter, showing intelligence, awareness, teamwork, and responsibility. This alone teaches us that greatness is not tied to size, wealth, or reputation. Sometimes the smallest among us hold the highest wisdom. When we study the ant, we learn the beauty of quiet perseverance, the kind of perseverance that does not need to be displayed, broadcasted, or applauded. The ant does not shout about what it carries, it simply carries. It does not complain about its load, it simply moves forward. It does not wait for perfect weather or perfect conditions, it simply works with what Allah has given it. And this is the first step toward bringing wealth, barakah, and stability into our own homes, learning to work consistently, humbly, and silently, without expecting immediate results or loud recognition. The ant teaches us that planning is a form of worship. It stores for the future, not because it fears scarcity, but because it understands responsibility. From an Islamic perspective, planning for tomorrow does not contradict tawakkul, it complements it. Allah teaches us to trust Him, but He also commands us to tie our camel, to take action, to prepare, to use the intellect He has blessed us with. The ant does not sit and wait for food to fall into its nest. It goes out, searches, collects, and brings back what is needed. If human beings adopted this attitude, working with diligence instead of waiting for miracles without effort, they would see a transformation in their lives. Barakah enters a home when its inhabitants organize their time, manage their resources, and avoid wastefulness. Wealth is not earned through chaos, but through structure, discipline, and purposeful action. Another powerful lesson from the ant is its ability to carry burdens far heavier than its own body weight. This mirrors the reality of life. Every person carries difficulties, responsibilities, emotional loads, and challenges that might seem too heavy. Yet Allah has designed the human heart with a capacity greater than we realize. Just as the ant carries what seems impossible, we too can overcome what we once thought unbearable. Hardship does not mean failure. It means Allah entrusted you with a test meant to elevate you. The ant does not stop moving forward because the path is long or the burden is heavy. It continues because that is its nature. Likewise, we must continue because our faith teaches us resilience. When we push through silently and patiently, Allah opens doors that were once invisible. The ant also teaches us the value of saving in a world that glorifies spending, showing off, and living beyond one's means. The ant presents a quiet reminder. Real wealth is not in how much you earn, but in how much you preserve. Many families suffer not from a lack of income, but from a lack of management, lack of planning, and unnecessary expenses. Islam encourages moderation, not miserliness, not extravagance, but balance. When a person lives below their means, saves wisely, avoids debt, and plans ahead, they create stability for themselves and their families. This is how barakah enters a home. Wealth earned with discipline is wealth that stays. Wealth spent without thought is wealth that disappears like sand slipping through the fingers. There is another aspect of the ant that is incredibly inspirational: teamwork. Ants do not isolate themselves. They work together, each contributing to a bigger purpose. They understand that the success of the group benefits every individual. In our homes, this translates to cooperation, understanding, communication, and unity. Families that work together, financially and emotionally, are families that prosper together. A household where each person helps, supports, and carries their share of responsibility becomes a place where Allah's blessings multiply. Wealth is not only money, it is peace, harmony, and mutual respect. A home filled with conflict loses barakah, while a home filled with unity attracts it. The ant also teaches humility. It moves without arrogance. It accomplishes big tasks without seeking attention. In our journey, humility protects the heart from pride, which is one of the greatest barriers to true success. Arrogance pushes people away and closes the doors of barakah. Humility, on the other hand, invites mercy, kindness, and divine assistance. When a person works without showing off, Allah elevates them. When they give without announcing, Allah increases their wealth. When they strive quietly for the sake of goodness, Allah places light in their path. Most importantly, the ant teaches consistency. It does not rush one day and sleep the next. It works bit by bit, small effort upon small effort, until greatness is achieved. This is the secret to long-lasting success: small, consistent steps repeated faithfully over time. Many people start strong but give up quickly because they expect instant results. But real wealth of the heart, mind, and home comes slowly through patience, steady action, and continuous improvement. When a person behaves like the ant, patient in effort, consistent in action, humble in attitude, responsible in planning, they naturally attract prosperity. They build a future that holds strength, stability, and comfort. In this way, the ant is not just an insect, it is a teacher. It reminds us that Allah places lessons in the smallest of creations so that the greatest of creation, the human being, may reflect, learn, and grow. The bee, as a symbol of productivity, sweetness in speech, and benefiting others, carries a profound lesson that resonates deeply with Islamic values and human character. When we look closely at the bee, we discover a creature that Allah has mentioned in the Quran, highlighting its remarkable qualities and the blessings that come from its work. The bee is not only a producer of honey, it is a model of discipline, purity, teamwork, purpose, and positive contribution. Reflecting on the bee helps us understand how a believer should live, bringing goodness to others, working with sincerity, and leaving behind benefit long after they are gone. There is something truly beautiful about the way a bee functions. It does not waste time wandering aimlessly. It knows its mission, understands its role, and remains focused on gathering from the best sources while avoiding what is impure. This alone is a lesson for us. In life, the barakah we seek is deeply connected to the sources we choose. If we fill our hearts, our minds, and our homes with the best, pure earnings, halal food, good company, beneficial knowledge, then our character will naturally produce sweetness, just as the bee produces honey from pure nectar. A bee does not take more than it needs, nor does it harm the flowers it visits. It extracts what benefits it, yet leaves the flower intact, sometimes even healthier. Imagine if we adopted this mindset in our dealings with people. How many relationships would flourish if we learned to take what is beneficial, advice, kindness, reminders, without draining others emotionally or causing harm? The bee shows us that true productivity is not about being busy, loud, or attention-seeking. It is about quietly doing what is right, consistently contributing, and leaving a positive impact wherever we go. When a believer behaves this way, their presence becomes a source of comfort and their absence is felt with genuine love. Another inspiring quality of the bee is the sweetness it produces. Honey is not just food, it is medicine. It heals, strengthens, and nourishes. Likewise, a believer's words should bring healing, not hurt. Our speech should lift people up, not tear them down. In today's world where harsh words travel faster than kindness, the bee teaches us to make our tongues sources of comfort. A single encouraging sentence at the right moment can mend a broken heart. A gentle reminder can guide someone back to Allah. The sweetness of our speech becomes a form of sadaqah, a charity that costs us nothing but can change someone's entire day. Just like honey soothes wounds, kind words soothe the wounds of the heart. One of the most remarkable aspects of the bee is its work ethic. A bee is constantly in motion, contributing to a hive much larger than itself. It understands that every small effort counts. Even if its role seems tiny, it still does it with excellence because it knows that the success of the whole hive depends on the sincerity of each member's contribution. This teaches us that no action is insignificant. Sometimes we look down on small good deeds, thinking they do not matter. But Allah sees every effort, and He places barakah in actions done with sincerity. A smile, a helping hand, a quiet act of charity, a prayer made for someone in secret. These small deeds accumulate and bring unimaginable blessings into our lives. The bee also teaches us discipline and order. Everything in the hive functions with structure and harmony. There is no chaos, no unnecessary conflict, no laziness. Each bee understands its responsibility and fulfills it without excuses. In our homes, workplaces, and communities, adopting this sense of responsibility and order can transform our lives. Families thrive when each member supports one another. Workplaces prosper when people act with integrity and commitment. Communities grow stronger when individuals stop waiting for others to act and instead take initiative to contribute in any way they can. A believer is someone who brings structure, organization, and improvement wherever they go. The bee reminds us that discipline is a pathway to barakah. There is also a beautiful humility in the way a bee works. It does not seek applause, recognition, or fame for the honey it produces. People enjoy its product, benefit from its effort, and heal through its sweetness, yet the bee remains unknown, uncelebrated, quietly returning to its work. This humility is a powerful lesson for us. Much of the good we do will never be seen by people, but it is always seen by Allah. Our true reward does not come from likes, comments, or praise. It comes from the one who knows what is hidden in our hearts. Doing good purely for Allah's sake, without expecting appreciation, brings immense barakah into our lives. The bee's legacy lives on in its honey. Similarly, our legacy lives on in the goodness we spread, in the hearts we soften, the lives we touch, and the kindness we leave behind. Lastly, the bee teaches cooperation and unity. No bee survives alone. Its success depends on its hive. In Islam, we are reminded that believers are like one body, united, supportive, and connected. When we help each other, pray for each other, forgive each other, and uplift each other, our community becomes stronger and more vibrant. Division weakens us, but unity brings strength and prosperity. The bee shows us that greatness comes through collaboration, not competition. In all these ways, the bee is a profound teacher. Through its productivity, purity, humility, and sweetness, it demonstrates how a believer should live, benefiting others, speaking with kindness, working with sincerity, and leaving behind goodness that continues long after they have gone. The horse, as a symbol of strength, discipline, and consistency, carries within it a powerful message for anyone seeking true success and barakah in life. When we observe the horse, we find not only a majestic creature admired throughout history, but also a living embodiment of qualities deeply encouraged in Islam. Strength does not only refer to physical power, it includes mental clarity, emotional endurance, spiritual determination, and the noble ability to remain firm in one's mission. The horse is a reminder that the journey of life requires stamina, direction, and balance. It moves with purpose, listens to guidance, and continues forward with unwavering determination even when the path becomes rough. This resilience reflects what believers must strive for, the ability to keep going despite fear, uncertainty, or difficulty, trusting that effort tied to sincerity always leads to growth. A horse's strength is not wild or uncontrolled, it is disciplined. The beauty of a horse does not lie in its muscles alone, but in the harmony between its power and its obedience. It is this balance that makes the horse one of the most useful and respected animals throughout human history. Likewise, success in our lives is not about raw power or busy action. It is about controlled strength, guided effort, and focused discipline. Many people possess talent but lack consistency. Many have dreams but lack structure. Many want success but resist discipline. The horse teaches us that strength without discipline leads to chaos, while strength combined with discipline leads to excellence. The believer must manage their time, energy, and habits in such a way that their potential is directed toward purposeful living rather than wasted in distractions and inconsistency. Another powerful aspect of the horse is its consistency. A horse runs with a rhythm, steady, balanced, persistent. It does not sprint only to collapse soon after. It preserves its energy, maintains its pace, and moves steadily toward its destination. This is an essential lesson for anyone seeking lasting prosperity. In life, it is not the one who starts the strongest who succeeds, but the one who remains constant, even with small steps. Many people experience bursts of motivation that vanish after a few days. They begin projects, goals, or spiritual routines with excitement, only to abandon them when challenges arise. But a believer inspired by the qualities of the horse keeps progressing, even when progress is slow. They understand that real transformation comes from consistent effort, repeated daily, even if the steps seem small. Small, consistent actions hold more power than big temporary ones. The horse also teaches us humility and strength. Despite its power, the horse is gentle when trained, respectful to its rider, and willing to serve. It does not use its strength to overpower unnecessarily, but to assist and uplift. This mirrors the Islamic teaching that true strength is not in domination or arrogance, but in self-control and kindness. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that the strong person is not the one who can overpower others, but the one who controls himself when angry. The horse symbolizes this beautifully, powerful yet restrained, capable yet humble. If we carry ourselves with such humility, Allah places honor in our lives. If we restrain our anger, purify our intentions, and use our strengths to help others rather than harm them, blessings follow naturally. The horse's loyalty is another remarkable trait. It is known to bond deeply with its owner, remaining faithful, responsive, and protective. Loyalty is a rare and precious quality in today's world, where relationships often weaken under the pressure of ego, impatience, or worldly desires. From the horse, we learn the importance of commitment to family, to responsibilities, to principles, and to Allah. Loyalty means standing firm when times are tough, not abandoning your duties when difficulty appears. It means being dependable, trustworthy, and consistent. A loyal believer becomes a source of stability and emotional wealth for their loved ones, strengthening the home with reliability and sincerity. The horse also symbolizes readiness. It remains prepared, alert, and willing to respond quickly. In life, opportunities often come unexpectedly, and challenges arrive without warning. Those who train themselves, mentally, spiritually, and practically, are able to seize these opportunities and overcome hardships. Readiness also means keeping the heart awake, avoiding heedlessness, staying connected with Allah through prayer, remembrance, and good deeds. When the believer keeps their spiritual muscles strong, just like a trained horse, they can handle the tests of life with grace instead of panic. Furthermore, the horse's endurance teaches us the value of patience. It can travel long distances, endure harsh climates, and continue moving even when tired because it understands the nature of the journey. Life is not a short sprint. It is a long path filled with ups and downs. Those who expect ease at every step become disappointed. But those who embrace patience, knowing that hardship is part of growth, move forward with resilience. This patience brings barakah because Allah promises that He is with those who are patient. Strength without patience collapses. but strength combined with patience becomes unbreakable. In addition, the horse's discipline reminds us to avoid procrastination and laziness. Just as a horse moves when commanded, we must learn to push ourselves even when excuses whisper in our ears. Laziness is one of the biggest thieves of potential. A disciplined believer wakes with purpose, prioritizes what matters, manages their time well, and refuses to let days slip away without progress. Such discipline attracts success, stability, and blessings because Allah rewards effort, not desire alone. In every way, the horse teaches us about a life of balance. Power with humility, speed with control, movement with direction, and strength with patience. By adopting the qualities symbolized by the horse, a person becomes stronger inwardly and outwardly, earning respect, building success, and inviting barakah into their life. The camel, as a symbol of patience, resilience, and trust in Allah, carries profound lessons that are deeply relevant to anyone striving for success, contentment, and barakah in their life. The camel is a remarkable creature, uniquely designed to survive in the harshest of conditions, enduring scorching heat, scarce water, and long, arduous journeys across deserts. It is often misunderstood as slow or stubborn, but in reality, the camel embodies wisdom, endurance, and perseverance. In the same way, a believer navigating the challenges of life must develop resilience and patience, understanding that the journey towards success, peace, and divine blessing is rarely immediate or effortless. Allah has designed life as a series of trials, a path that tests faith, strengthens character, and separates fleeting desires from lasting values. Like the camel, a person who cultivates patience and reliance on Allah can traverse the hardships of life without losing direction or hope, moving steadily toward their ultimate purpose. The camel teaches us the importance of patience, known in Arabic as sabr, which is considered one of the most beautiful qualities a believer can possess. Life is rarely smooth. We encounter obstacles, delays, rejections, and hardships that may seem unbearable. Yet, the camel shows us that endurance is not about rushing or complaining, but about maintaining steady progress despite difficulties. It can carry heavy loads for long distances without faltering, conserving its energy and preserving its strength. Similarly, we are called upon to endure our challenges with quiet strength, maintaining faith and composure, even when the weight of life feels overwhelming. Patience is not passive waiting, it is active perseverance, trusting that Allah sees our effort and will respond in the best way at the best time. The camel's ability to survive long periods without water is a reminder that Allah's timing is perfect. And even when we feel deprived or delayed, sustenance will come in its appointed moment. Resilience is another defining characteristic of the camel. It thrives where other creatures would struggle or fail. This is a powerful metaphor for human life. When we face adversity, we often wonder why we are tested, why our paths are so difficult, or why others seem to have it easier. The camel reminds us that challenges are not signs of weakness, but opportunities to develop strength, endurance, and wisdom. In Islam, hardship is never meaningless. Allah reminds us in the Quran that with hardship comes ease, and that trials are a means to elevate our rank, purify our hearts, and draw us closer to Him. Just as the camel adapts to the harsh desert, we too must adapt to life's challenges, finding ways to endure, to maintain our faith, and to move forward with determination and dignity. Trust in Allah, or tawakkul, is a lesson the camel demonstrates beautifully. Despite the harsh conditions, the camel moves with confidence, guided instinctively, and reliant on the sustenance provided by Allah. For a believer, true trust in Allah means recognizing that while effort is required, the outcome ultimately rests with Him. Many people work hard yet remain anxious or fearful, forgetting that Allah is the one who provides, sustains, and blesses. The camel exemplifies perfect balance between effort and reliance. It does its part, moving forward steadily, but does not panic when the desert seems endless or the water scarce. Likewise, believers must act with diligence while leaving the results to Allah, knowing that He rewards patience, sincerity, and perseverance. The camel also teaches the value of endurance over speed. In today's world, we are conditioned to expect instant results, quick fixes, and immediate gratification. We measure success by speed rather than sustainability. But the camel thrives on consistency and endurance, moving steadily, conserving energy, and covering great distances over time. Real success in life, whether spiritual, emotional, or financial, often requires long-term commitment and persistent effort. Quick gains without stability rarely last. Like the camel, we must learn to pace ourselves, balancing effort with rest, ambition with patience, and hope with realistic expectation. The greatest achievements come not from haste, but from steady, sustained effort aligned with purpose and guided by faith. Another aspect of the camel that inspires reflection is its ability to carry heavy burdens without complaint. Life will inevitably place responsibilities, challenges, and emotional weights upon us. Some burdens are temporary, some may last for years, but the way we carry them shapes our character and influences the outcomes of our lives. The camel's strength under pressure reminds us that we are capable of much more than we realize when we rely on Allah and approach challenges with patience. Hardship is a form of training, refining our endurance, teaching us humility and developing our capacity to empathize with others. A home where patience, resilience, and calm determination are cultivated becomes a place of barakah, peace, stability, and abundant sustenance. The camel's journey across the desert also symbolizes life as a spiritual and worldly journey combined. The path may be long, uncertain, and demanding, yet the camel continues with focus and endurance, never losing sight of the oasis ahead. This mirrors the believer's path toward Allah. Life is filled with trials, yet each step taken with patience, reliance on Allah, and perseverance brings us closer to success in this world and reward in the hereafter. Every trial is an opportunity to strengthen faith. Every delay is a lesson in trust, and every burden is a chance to grow spiritually and morally. Just as the camel endures without complaint, the believer must maintain composure, remembering that Allah's plan is perfect and that perseverance is always rewarded. Finally, the camel teaches gratitude and contentment. Even in scarcity, it survives, making use of what is available and adapting to circumstances without resentment. For us, cultivating patience and resilience also means being content with Allah's decree while striving for improvement. True wealth is not measured solely by abundance, but by the ability to remain grateful, composed, and steadfast in all circumstances. A patient heart attracts barakah, strengthens relationships, and nurtures a home filled with peace. In every sense, the camel is a living example of what it means to endure, to trust, and to persevere. Its patience, resilience, and reliance on Allah provide a blueprint for believers who seek stability, prosperity, and spiritual growth in their lives. Those who emulate the camel in character, not in form, will find that no matter how harsh the journey, Allah's guidance, mercy, and blessings will accompany them at every step. The idea that wealth is not just money, but also includes peace, contentment, and barakah is a profound and essential lesson for anyone striving for true prosperity in life. In today's society, wealth is often narrowly defined as material possessions, bank balances, luxury homes, or expensive cars. While financial stability is undoubtedly important for comfort and security, Islam teaches us that true wealth extends far beyond these physical measures. Wealth is a state of the heart, a quality of the soul, and a blessing from Allah that encompasses emotional balance, spiritual satisfaction, and the ability to live with gratitude. A person can have immense riches but feel empty, anxious, and unsatisfied, while another with modest means may experience deep joy, peace, and fulfillment because their wealth is measured by barakah, not just quantity. The Quran reminds us that Allah gives provision in ways seen and unseen, and what is truly valuable is the blessing that comes with it. The contentment that allows a person to sleep peacefully at night, the tranquility that fills a home, and the harmony that nurtures relationships. Peace is a cornerstone of true wealth. Financial abundance without inner peace can lead to stress, greed, and anxiety. A person may acquire possessions and yet never feel secure, constantly worrying about loss, comparison, or status. In contrast, a believer who cultivates inner peace, trusts in Allah's plan, and maintains a balanced heart is rich even with limited material means. Peace allows the mind to focus, the heart to remain grateful, and the spirit to flourish. It transforms everyday life from a struggle into a journey, where each challenge is met with patience and each blessing is appreciated with humility. Wealth, in this sense, is not measured by accumulation, but by contentment. The ability to be satisfied with what one has while striving ethically for what one needs. This is why barakah in a home or business is far more valuable than sheer quantity of possessions. It is the unseen quality that makes what we have sufficient and even abundant. Contentment, or qana'ah, is closely linked to peace. It is a recognition that while we may desire more, we can still be thankful for what we already possess. Contentment is an internal state that frees us from the chains of comparison and envy. which are often the root causes of emotional poverty. Many people fail to see their own blessings because they are fixated on what they lack. In contrast, contentment allows the heart to appreciate the gifts of Allah, family, health, knowledge, relationships, and even challenges that teach growth and resilience. A home filled with contentment is a home filled with laughter, harmony, and love. A heart that values what it has over what it lacks experiences joy that no amount of material wealth can replace. Contentment is a spiritual wealth that cannot be measured by accounts, ledgers, or possessions. It is an internal treasure that provides true stability and happiness. Barakah is another crucial aspect of this form of wealth. Barakah is the divine blessing that increases the goodness, effectiveness, and satisfaction of whatever one possesses. It is the quality that turns small means into great outcomes, small efforts into significant achievements, and simple homes into places of comfort and sustenance. For example, a small income with barakah can provide enough for the family, allow charity, and bring joy, whereas a large income without barakah may lead to stress, debt, and dissatisfaction. Similarly, time with barakah allows one to achieve more in a few hours than others might in a whole day. Allah's barakah is a form of wealth that transcends numbers, accounts, and possessions. It emphasizes quality over quantity and spiritual alignment over worldly accumulation. A person blessed with barakah in their life is one who experiences abundance in health, relationships, sustenance, and peace, regardless of their outward financial status. True wealth also includes the ability to benefit others. In Islam, one of the highest forms of wealth is the ability to give and support others, whether through charity, knowledge, guidance, or simply kindness. A wealthy person in the eyes of Allah is not the one who hoards riches, but the one whose life and resources benefit those around them. When wealth is shared, it grows in barakah. A home that gives charity, a business that acts ethically, and a heart that supports others in need becomes a magnet for divine blessings. This form of wealth is sustainable because it is not based solely on accumulation, but on circulation, giving, serving, and enriching the lives of others. Wealth in this sense is holistic. It nourishes the soul, strengthens community, and cultivates lasting happiness. Emotional and spiritual wealth are also components of this concept. A person who has emotional resilience, a sense of purpose, gratitude, and strong faith is wealthier than someone who has gold and silver but lacks these qualities. Emotional and spiritual wealth allows a person to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and composure, to find hope when times are difficult, and to maintain integrity when temptation appears. These forms of wealth cannot be stolen, lost, or measured in human terms, but they define the quality of life far more than any material possession. A home filled with emotional intelligence, empathy, and compassion has more value than a palace with riches but devoid of love and harmony. Ultimately, the lesson is clear. Wealth is multifaceted. It is not merely the accumulation of money or possessions, but a combination of peace, contentment, barakah, and the ability to benefit others. Financial stability is a tool, but true wealth lies in the balance between material provision, spiritual alignment, and emotional fulfillment. Those who pursue wealth without these qualities may find themselves materially rich but spiritually and emotionally bankrupt. Those who cultivate inner peace, gratitude, barakah, and generosity experience abundance in every aspect of life. True wealth transforms the heart, strengthens relationships, and turns a simple home into a sanctuary. It is the kind of prosperity that is sustainable, fulfilling, and blessed by Allah, leaving a legacy that goes beyond the temporary measures of this world. That true prosperity comes when actions, intentions, and character align with Islamic values, carries one of the most powerful messages for anyone seeking a meaningful, blessed, and fulfilling life. In a world where people often chase success through shortcuts, appearances, or purely material means, Islam emphasizes that real prosperity is holistic. It is not measured merely by wealth, status, or recognition, but by the quality of our character, the sincerity of our intentions, and the alignment of our actions with the principles Allah has set for us. This understanding transforms how we view success, work, and relationships. It reminds us that no matter how much we achieve outwardly, if our actions are detached from righteous intentions and moral integrity, that success can be hollow and temporary. Allah looks beyond what is seen. He sees the heart, the intention, and the effort put into every deed. Therefore, to achieve prosperity in the fullest sense, we must ensure that our lives are guided by ethical values, spiritual awareness,